It is a problem that San Antonio and Bexar County continue to struggle with: child abuse. We have incredible numbers of cases right here in our community, and there is a campaign underway this month to try to raise awareness, but also prevention at the same time. We're going to talk about that here with Randy McGibeny, the Chief Operations Officer with ChildSafe. That's an organization that provides services to kids who have been victims of abuse or who have witnessed violence. Randy, thank you so much for being here. I love what ChildSafe does. We all do. Let's talk first about the problem. We know that we cover it here all the time, these horrific cases of child abuse. Do you think that there is a unique set of challenges that San Antonio faces when trying to combat this problem?
Yeah, I think, in San Antonio, we have a long history of underage teen pregnancies that happen in our community. We have a long history of domestic violence. We have a high rate of domestic violence inside of our community. We have a high poverty level inside of our community, and we have a high issue of substance abuse inside of our community. And all these kind of create this perfect environment for child abuse to happen inside of the San Antonio and surrounding areas.
You talk about the cardboard kids. I know you have a couple of them behind you. I mean, they're cute, they're decorated very well, but they also send a message to everybody out there that hopefully sees these things around our community.
Yeah, so we started Cardboard Kids about 8 years ago. In the first year, the idea was really to try to raise awareness about child abuse. It coincides with Child Abuse Prevention Month. And then in year two, we got a large sponsorship from Valero Energy, and they have been our sponsor for Cardboard Kids for the past 7 years. And what that really has allowed us to do, in the first year, we gave out about 6,500. And every year since Valero has been on board with us, we've been able to give out anywhere from 80 to 100,000 cardboard kids at no cost to the community. And so not only does really two things for us. One, the first thing that it does is it allows us to reach a broad network inside of the community of people and raise awareness about this issue. But secondly, and this is what I love about Cardboard Kids the most, is that it provides an opportunity for caregivers and teachers and anybody who's actually doing this artwork with young children to teach them about body safety and about saying no, and really talk to them about what child abuse is, because children don't realize that they're being abused until after the fact, and then they tell somebody. So having an opportunity to make this a primary prevention program as well as in a community awareness program, I think makes this project really, really unique.
I love the prevention angle of that as well. I think you told us there have been some 600,000 of these cardboard kids distributed since this campaign began a couple of years ago. And the idea is, of course, raising awareness. Would you have any advice for people on signs of abuse to look for? Because so often people are afraid to assume. They don't want to get it wrong. Yeah. But reporting something is often the first step. So what should you look for, and then what should you do with that information?
That's a great question, Myra. We have a saying around here when it comes to Cardboard Kids: if you see something, say something. I think in our community we all have an obligation to protect our biggest asset, which is our children of the future, right? So certain signs that you can possibly look for in young children. If they're out at an event, or they're at a school, or they're an after-school program, they're at soccer or something like that, and they linger. They don't necessarily want to go home. They want to stay there and be at the event a little bit longer. That's a sign that you can look for. From a physical standpoint, some of the things that you can look for is some pattern bruising or some burn marks, or just making up various excuses for injuries that they've had and continual injuries that they have over their bodies. From a behavioral standpoint, we oftentimes see a lot of hypervigilance in young children who've been victims of abuse, particularly the young children. They don't have any way of really expressing what they're feeling, and so you'll see them act out behaviorally. You might have a young kiddo who's been doing really, really well in school, or even an adolescent who's doing really, really well in school, and then all of a sudden there's a massive dip in their school numbers. I would get involved and actively find out what's happening in that young child's life.
A lot of people obviously talking about an epidemic that we're seeing in San Antonio when it comes to child abuse. What does ChildSafe do? Like what you do besides Cardboard Kids, some of the services that you provide? And is there a percentage as far as the kids that you help who reached out to somebody and hope that maybe somebody would have listened to them earlier?
Yeah, so in regards to the second question, what we've seen a lot with what also makes the Cardboard Kids really cool is there's an opportunity for young children when they're actually doing this and they realize, oh my gosh, this is something bad that is actually happening to me and I need to tell somebody, right? Oftentimes when it comes to children who have been victims of child sexual abuse, it takes them roughly 2 to 3 years to even make that outcry, to find that courage and to come forward. And so that's why it's even more important that when a child makes an outcry to you, that we hear something and we actually do something about it. As far as our services here at ChildSafe, the main service that we provide is that when you make a call up to statewide intake at CPS and report a case of child abuse, they're required by state law to notify law enforcement. We're a Children's Advocacy Center, and our function is to bring together a multidisciplinary team of partners like SAPD, Bexar County Sheriff's Office, Children's Hospital of San Antonio, the District Attorney's Office, and Child Protective Services so that we can interview those children inside of our facility here at ChildSafe in a child-friendly environment. So they don't have to go down to CPS and be interviewed. They don't have to go down to law enforcement to be interviewed. And it minimizes the number of times that that child actually has to tell that story. If the child makes an outcry during that interview process, we'll offer some secondary and tertiary services, such as our clinical counseling services inside the agency and family advocacy services. When child abuse happens in a home, oftentimes there's 2 investigations that are happening, and a lot of people don't understand that. There's a civil investigation that's going on with CPS to ensure the safety of the child, but there's also a criminal investigation going on to see if there's been any criminal intent where a child has been injured or sexually assaulted, where there may be a perpetrator who's locked up. And so we provide advocates who kind of help them through and navigate both legal sides.
Randy, Cardboard Kids, that's something anybody can display, homes, businesses, schools, anywhere. If someone wants one of these, how can they go about getting one?
So our big reveal day was on April 7th, which was the last Thursday. And the idea behind that was after you decorated them, we are asking the community to do hashtag Cardboard Kids SA so that it creates this kind of social network movement. But if people are still interested in participating, even after the fact, if they give us a call, we have several of them here at the organization. We'd be more than happy to set up a time for them to come down and pick as many of those up as they'd like.
Randy McGibeny, Chief Operations Officer of ChildSafe. Thank you again for what you do and the people who work with you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us on tonight.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.